now that I've been put through. I never got anyone's help, I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
What's up, guys? Masta Styles here, back with another episode in the Fun to Play series. And today we're going to be covering different stages and also talk about team building, whether it be PvE and PvP, right? Because again, when it comes to this game, there's multiple different stages. Of course, if you're newer to the game, Ketosian triangle, you're going to unlock that later on. But the premier stages, of course, is going to be Sensor Marsh, Disa Cave, Terror Dome. I already talked about commanders and prototypes. If you want information about that, go check out the previous video. We're also going to apply what we've learned and apply it within this video too. Once you get to Ketosian Triangle, that's when you'll start unlocking the 4 set gears, right? Each stage here is pertained to a particular thing. So this is where you get your commanders. You should already know this if you already watched the previous episode. You want to make sure you're utilizing the 3 stamina that they give you. Of course, it depends on what you want to primarily focus on. Make sure you pick up those extra staminas. But for me, since I'm still in the early game phase, right, I want to get as much equipment as possible. So I generally put all of my stamina into equipment. Later on, you can start focusing on whether it be trying to acquire the other additional prototypes. But the prototypes that they give you here, you're only going to use them until you get to red prototypes. Once you get to red prototypes, primarily you're not going to really use some of those prototypes anymore unless it's like a lesser of the main prototype. Let me see if I can pull up one of them here. So for instance, this here is the lesser of Ruler's Ring, and I'll show you what Ruler's Ring is. If you don't know, you should know by now, right? Ruler's Ring is the summoner prototype. This is Ruler's Ring, and of course they have a lesser for Ruler's Ring. They also have a lesser for, I don't have it here, I'd have to pull it up. Actually they have all 3 of them together. Where is it? Here. For the assassins and also for vanguards, right? But the one mistake that I did make was when I had the option to level this up, I had gotten one of the universal crystals. Let's see if we can find one of these. I got one of these, but the mistake that I did was actually bringing this to level 1. What I should have did instead of doing that, I should have gone into the shop here. I think 8-20 is around when you unlock the divine prototype realm. What I should have done was come into here and grab one of these red prototypes instead of leveling that particular prototype there, right? I should have came in here and grabbed dominated nucleus so I could continuously focus on building this one out. And also this works well with my summoners, and I run a lot of summoners in the beginning of the game. But that was one mistake that I made there on my end. So the next time I get one of these universal crystals, I'm definitely picking up dominated nucleus. And this is a way to get the red prototypes for pretty much free. You know, there's a decent amount, and they have Titan Hammer in here too. So again, I wish they would update this. It would refresh after a while, but once you make a purchase here, that's it. It makes no sense why it doesn't reset, but neither here nor there. But let's go back to the stages. I want to primarily focus on the Ketosian Triangle stages because I already spoke about the Lost Valley stages, but I just unlocked Ketosian Triangle. The hero that helped me to get to 35-40 was the new hero added to the game, Bergman. This guy at 1 copy is amazing, especially for newer players. Thing is, depending on when you're watching this, his banner may not be available, but if he's in the shop and you're a new player, I'm telling you, pick him up. He's very good for being a frontliner, and also he heals, so that's the great thing there. So actually we'll just hop over to the stages and go over the Ketosian Triangle I love that everything is open. I wish they would do this on Thursdays once the game update, and then on Sunday. So everything is open. So we'll start from the left and work our way to the right. So first up, we have the Roulette of Truth. I'm on level 1. Again, with Roulette of Truth, it's similar to that of Terradome. You need to be in the circle to do damage. Range heroes don't do well here. It's more so melee based, and of course it goes to the same sequence where there's, so actually let's just go through it, right? It says I need more than that. Don't know if I can quite beat it yet, but let's see here, right? Again, the thing about the circle is why I'm bringing Senway to is that you can actually put Shadow inside the circle, which is pretty cool. Ampu may not be the best here. Why isn't he on? Yeah, he could be on, right? Ampu may not be the best here, but at the same time, we could probably put another melee hero. And of course, with this one, it goes through 3 different phases. I have to keep continuously putting Shadow in there. I wish once you pick a spot, that's where he spawns him. But I don't think we can beat it based on the damage that we're putting out. We need another melee user and also people that crit. Leo do not crit, so might have to take out Leo there and put in Rick. But again, just to a brief overview is that, you want to bring in melee heroes here. Very simple, very easy, right? That's where you want to use your melee heroes. Thing about this one is that it gives you Surge, Realm, and Burst. Your Surge equipment is primarily for your range heroes, of course. Ampoule works with Surge, but that's later on down the road. And also, getting to 35-40 is where you start to tamper your gears, but we're not there yet. Let's just work on at least getting a 4-piece set. So again, for your range heroes, you want to get that. Next, we have Battlefield Azura. We're probably not going to touch this one for a long time because, again, the boss has a mechanic where you have to knock him down or he will wipe out your team. This one here is one of the tougher bosses within the Ketosian triangle. You need tanks, but again, Bergman here, you would potentially help me out with the knockdowns, right, and the healing. I'll just show you real quick how, and he does a lot. This guy does a lot of damage, right? Of course, it is level 1, and look at that heal. That heal is better than Serena. All of the healers that you'll get in the beginning. Nice knockdown there, and they're probably gonna die back here. Yep, he's gonna wipe them out. But I think we can actually beat this because he'll end up killing them off, and then Bergman is so tanky, man. So hopefully he can go into the phase here. Let's see, because he's around a group of people. I want him to go into the phase so I can kind of show you. So we only need to do 1 here, which is good. Later on, it increases by the stages and it end up going up to 4, but that's later on, neither here nor there. But again, Bergman's healing is just so good, and that's the great thing about him is that he can be a frontliner and also heal too at the same time. Nice knockdown there. We can actually beat that, but just wanted to go over that real quick. And the gears that you gain from here is Charge, which is for your vanguards. You also have Rebirth, which is for your healers, and Abundant. Like, yeah, those gears there, you're gonna end up not using them after a while because there's better versions of them. So Charge and Rebirth, this is where you get your 4-set piece for those gears there. Underneath that, we have Crimson Rot. Crimson Rot pretty much is energy base, right? You can also use summoners here if you have a good set of summoners, right? Your Onpools, your Jack City, but if you're a new player, you're probably not going to see Jack City for a little bit. And of course, Amat, those heroes, you're not going to see them for a while until their banners come live, right? But again, this one here is primarily focusing around your energy heroes, right? AoE damage, as they mentioned there. But again, with this boss, you need to kill off the spiders. We'll show you the spiders real quick. And if you don't kill off the spiders in time, they end up exploding and they'll end up wiping out your team, right? So again, here with this stage, the other problem is that you can use summoners, but at the same time, at early game, you probably don't want to, because what's going to end up happening is the boss does that explosion right there automatically erase all summoned creatures. So it basically blows them up, and then that's the end of that. So here we need to take them out, and each spider you kill, it goes towards the damage of the boss, right? And let's see the gears that we get here from this one. Of course, is pertaining to summoner. So your madness set, extraction, and I'm not even gonna bother waste my time talking about that because you're not gonna end up using the other gear down there, right? But the main two here is extraction and, of course, madness. Madness is the one that you want to temper out, but for right now, it's great to put on your Daniel. Anpu's okay too, but if you have Sif with non-tempered madness, Gobo is going to die very fast. And I think it affects Durelli, but you don't want to use madness on Durelli. You want to use extraction, right? Especially in PvP. Then we have for the summoners, and I already attacked this one. It's the summoner boss here, and we'll do things a little bit different. You get Marauder, which is correlating to your assassins. People that use teleportation, you don't want to use Marauder on vanguards because, again, vanguards, they tend to not crit on their ultimates, and this here increases your critical damage by 80%, right? So Marauder doesn't work too well with it. Marauder doesn't work well with vanguards. I know that they do displacement, but at the same time, you want to do this with heroes that are assassin. This Marauder set is perfect. And the other 4 set here is Fade Out. The other one, I ended up just disassembling that. I'm not even gonna bother talk about that because you're probably not gonna use it anyways. Fade Out is the other one. Fade Out, the thing about Fade Out is that it works with heroes that revive, right? You can use it, but at the same time, you would want to use that with the heroes that are going to revive, the Caraxias, the Sams. But again, right now, you're not going to gain access to those heroes, right? But at the same time, summoners, they work well here. And this is primarily their boss, right? Not going to go into that. Then we have one for the vanguards. And for the vanguards, you gain bug gear, the best gears in the game, right? You do extra damage to the boss. So again, whenever you're facing, let's see, actually we have it right here, right? Let's go over here to endless battles, and this boss here, bug gear, works perfect on him. And also, of course, the energy boss here, you use bug gear here, you'll gain some additional damage. So again, farming the Thundercliff Ketosian stage would be the way to go, but you want to get to, I want to say, around 4, which is not easy to do because, again, here you can't use summoners here too, because the other side of this boss is that if you use summons, I'll show you what happens when you use summoners here. We'll just go at it and see what ends up happening. So see, now the summons start to attack you, which is I think that's an interesting mechanic. So now when I summon Shadow here, after the boss roars, he's going to turn them against. Actually, Shadow's not bad here because after a while he'll go away, but Shadow's going to be doing some big damage. Let's see, and then you're basically placing that guy on top of him. But see, Shadow isn't bad because he ends up going away. So once the boss roars, pretty much the summoners start attacking you. So that's one of the mechanics of this boss. And you need vanguards here. Vanguards that have rage does well. You know, your Becky, your Claire's, your Ares. And one other thing worth noting is that for me, what I'm going to do with where is it? Interstellar, right? Let's see, go to the shop. So with Interstellar, for newer players, once you gain access to this, just slowly do it, and I would target the heroes themselves, right? Because you just need to get to 850 to get a copy of Ares, because where else are you gonna get a copy of Ares? You can get a copy of Fiona. I'm gonna pick up my copy of Rick. Actually, let's go into my inbox here and grab my copy of Rick. because that's kind of my thought process there, right? So okay, we got 300, not bad. Did better than I thought, and I don't have great energy. What is it, hunters and energy heroes? I just don't like that the shop is attached to this, because once it goes into settlement, you can't really. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a Rick anyways. You can't really access the shop. So let's pick up our copy of Rick. Ooh, we were so close to getting Aries. We'll get Aries tomorrow. So let's get our copy of Rick. And that's why I feel like for this, you need to pick which way you want to go. So for me here, I was aiming for Rick, and I'm also aiming for a copy of Aries, because Aries in PvP is huge, right? So again, Rickard is going to help me out here. Let's actually level him up while we're at it too, right? So now he's gonna go up a copy, which is great. Where is he? He's here. And I think that playing through those game modes, I know it could be, annoying, because you may lose or whatever the case may be, but just continuously progress through those game modes, because again, as you can see there, because I've been playing, I ended up getting a free copy of Rick, which is huge, right? So even if you missed him in the summoning part, you can still get a copy of him there. And of course, every time that event comes around, there's a new hero in there. So that's one of the cooler things there. And let's see here, where were we? We were here. And then we have Molten Abyss. So with Molten Abyss, this is more the hunters. You need to be able to break the shield to do damage to the boss. You can't break the shield, your damage is going to be reduced significantly. And this boss, he hits hard, right? Let me show you something. So what's when he do his jump here? He almost killed Bergman. Now let me explain something to you. Do you know how much it takes to even get Bergman down to that point? From all of the fights that I've been in using him, I don't even think I've ever seen him got to that point. It would have to take a significant amount of DPS to do that. So again, with this boss here, you want to get your hunters going, but again, in the early game, you're not going to really have too many hunters, so that boss there might have to wait till later on. And what are the gears that you gain from there? The gears that you gain from there are resonance and opportunistics for your tanks, and also resonance works for heroes that need accuracy, and in PvP, heroes you want to get their ultimate out very fast. So now we're gonna hop into team building, right? What better place? Oh, actually, that's good there, right? What better place to show team building than when they require you to use a select set of heroes? Let's go into here. What do we have? Wind Fear. That's very bad. That is so bad. Wind Fear, right? So again, I have a healer, which is great. I'll go Leo, Summoner, and Taylor. That's really simple there. Let's move this here. Of course, we can't really use any of the other triple S heroes because we don't have them, right? And for this one, because of all the displacements, we'll do that. And this here, and what else? Ruler's Ring. I put Ruler's Ring on everything, and of course that. So that's primarily a quick team build there, but I just wanted to save that. We'll skip that. That's awesome that you can skip that. I wish you could skip on other things, but we ain't gonna talk about that, right? Let's go back into story real quick and see. So for PvE, right? Primarily what you want to do, depending on where you are in the game. Obviously, you may not have Bergman, but you might have Leo. So start from the ground up, right? So when it comes to team building, we talked about our commanders, we talked about our prototypes, right? This is PvE. In PvP, it's a little bit different. You want 3 of the same class to activate the commander bonus effect. We're not talking about that yet. We'll do that in a second. For me, whenever I'm building a team, especially in the early game, I need somebody who's going to sit up front that can soak up damage, give me enough time to take care of the enemy units, while also, if you can, provide some type of support. And this is where Bergman comes in. Like I said, his healing is great, his tankiness is great, so we put him up front. But the other thing is too, if you have another option, whether it be Vegas or artist, because they always force feed you artists anyways. But the thing about artist is that he moves around the map. So if he passed the two yellow enemies here, he's not going to come back. He's just going to keep progressing, moving further back, and then they may end up in your middle and back line, which is not what you want, because most of those heroes are probably squishy and they just do big damage, right? So assassins, vanguards are not the greatest frontliners, because assassins, they teleport, they leave and go to the other side of the enemy team, and your middle and back row is pretty much exposed. So the heroes you want to think of is obviously heroes that are tanks. So we'll put Bergman up front. Then again, you need your damage dealers. So your Dan, if you have Dan, or your Ampo. You should have Dan, because they pretty much gave you Dan through the Elite chapter, right? You just had to play through that and save up to get your copy of Dan. Ravenna, you should have gotten through the actual event from the beginning. So you have your Ravenna, and you also have Senway, which I also give to you, right? Just to play through story. And Ampu, they also give to you to do Galactic Bounty. So all of these heroes here you can acquire as a new player. You just have to play through it. So let's see how we do here, and pretty much let's just walk through it. So again, Bergman stands up front, just soaks up a lot of damage. As long as they're within his circle, they'll actually end up get healed by Bergman. Let's just turn this off, right? They'll get healed by Bergman, which is huge, right? So now I don't need to run a healer, right? Because I have him, I don't need to run a healer. And that saved me a slot of putting in another damage dealer, because in the higher you go within story, the more damage that's coming towards your hero. So you end up having to use a healer. But earlier story, you don't really need a healer. But here, I wish you would just stow them towards the enemies there. But again, we'll get it done. It's very simple here, and here we go. So again, that's primarily it there. You want to make sure you have a nice front liner up front, regardless of who you're using. And of course, for my situation, I have the luxury of not needing a healer, because I have a tank that heals, which is huge, and I like him for that. And that's why I want to get him up to higher levels, because he's actually a great account carrier, right? He literally brought me from 20. So I was at 20 dash something. I can't remember off the top of my head. And he brought me all the way up to 35 dash 40, which is why I needed to open up Ketosian triangle. But that's one piece there, right? That's one piece. There's also the other side of PvP, right? I don't know if I can beat this guy. So when it comes to PvP, like I mentioned, you want to make sure you have 3 of the same heroes from the same class to trigger your commander bonus. So depending on which commander you're using, if you're going with Hagridon, you need 3 vanguards, right? 3 or more vanguards. And of course, Grace, 3 or more energy heroes. Cabal, 3 or more assassins. And of course, Enlightened, you need 3 or more summoners. So what I'm running here is 3 summoners, and of course I can't wait to replace Senway. Senway's great, he's great, but I need another summoner to help out over here. Of course I'm running Leo. We could beat this team, but Wamigan could be annoying, but let's see how we do here. So again, you want to make sure you have the prototypes that pertain to the particular hero. I don't have Dominated Nucleus, which is what I would run, but again, I'm going to run something that's leaning more towards my Vanguard here, which is Leo. Or I can run this, but he's not going to gain a shield, so it's better to just run this one here. And of course, middle prototype would be better for my tanks, but my summoners are more squishier, so I would rather split up their damage, right, through Ruler's Ring. And the third prototype doesn't really matter, because we don't have any healers. So here, he has his heroes. I'm a little concerned about Leo, but Bergman should be able to take care of him. As long as we're able to take out Leo, we should be able to win this. Okay, Leo's already dead, and they're pretty much in trouble, because nope, their Leo's still alive. He's in his death animation there, and he's now dead. But again, this combination here, it works. Even though they had a higher combat power than me, it didn't really matter. It's more so about the development of your heroes. And I think that's what the next video will be about. Developing your heroes, right? Yeah, that's what the next episode will be about. But again, like I said, when it comes to team building, it's the same in PvP, but at the same time, you're now focusing more on your class of heroes so you can get that commander bonus. Obviously, you can go without it, but I do suggest that you do it because it's going to make things better. So in this situation, they activated the commander bonus. This is why you see it's glowing here. They have 3 vanguards. The thing about this is that we could lose this because of Becky. Becky's very strong, even regardless of where she is. Even if it's one copy, she's strong. But again, we do have Bergman, and Bergman is a counter to the vanguards. But Becky's gonna kill off all of the summoners, probably. Let's see. But the thing about Becky is that you need Terrans. I don't understand why run Taylor. You should have ran a Terran. You could have ran Randall or someone else, because in that situation Becky wouldn't have died. But Becky's gonna die here. She got her first death there. And Bergman's in the circle. Taylor is kryptonite to Bergman because he is a hunter, and Taylor does do a lot of damage to tanks because that's a counter there. I just don't understand why he didn't just finish off Leo there. Why'd he back off? But Bergman said, you know what, let me just go take care of this actual healer here. I didn't understand that. That made no sense. You should have just killed Leo there. And Taylor's just, Taylor can actually kill him. Yeah. Taylor's dangerous. Dead. Okay, Taylor. Ow. Oof. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Here we go. Dead. Yeah. So again, you see, Bergman, he helped out there, even though they had the Becky, but the mistake that they made was bringing Taylor. But Taylor did help though in that situation. I think if they would have had an actual Terran, another additional Terran there, it might have helped out. But Bergman is just awesome. But anyways, but again, like I said, when it comes to PvP, make sure you're activating your commander bonus. That is that there, right? That's primarily what I do. And like I said, with Interstellar, just continue to do the fight, grind through. I know it can be annoying. I know it can be, but your objective should be to try to get one of these, at least one of them, before the event ends. Try to get one of these heroes, because again, you're just playing through it, right? And it's not like summoning where you have to accumulate all these tickets to get one copy. So again, for me, huge picking up right there. Of course, for the more advanced players, they're probably going to end up getting a copy of Ravenna's Soul Crystal, which is huge. I'll get that for my main account. I already got the Titan Hammer fusion chip over there for my main account. So again, this one here, I don't know if I'll have enough for Sif, but I'll probably push for Sif. But again, for newer players, Fiona isn't bad. It'll help out with your assassin team, but I want Ares for the PvP aspect, right? And then I'll have my 2 vanguards. I wish I was able to get Becky, because then them 3 together would be rocking stuff. But again, those are some of the stages. Of course, you also have here Exotic Expedition, but again, you're gonna need some good amount of heroes to get through, even to progress through this here, right? So again, this one, I didn't want to touch too much on that, because just even beating Panda alone is a lot of work, and depending on when you're watching this, it may be even a different boss there, right? And of course, you have Crimson Abyss and all of that fun stuff. So a lot of stages. Just make sure when you're building out your team for PvE and PvP, you want to make sure you got that great front line up front, and your damage dealers in the back. If you need a healer, put a healer in there. If not, put it in another damage dealer. Very simple. And of course, stages may be tough, but eventually you'll break through that wall. If you made it this far in the video, comment down below Bergman, because he's a carry. He is literally a carry, right? And I know his back is hurting for carrying my account, man. But if you're new to my channel, you want tips, guides, updates, the Fun to Play series, this is a channel you want to subscribe to. And for those that are rocking with me, you already know what to do. Comment down below how you feel about the Fun to Play series, what I could cover next. If there's something that you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. Without further ado, I want to thank you for watching. Till the next video, peace.